still joining. So thank you very much. So what I wanted to do, because I think maybe some of you might not be very familiar with these prayers, I wanted to give a quick introduction. So the International Mahayana Institute, which is the community of monks within the foundation of the preservation of the Mahayana tradition, of which Choe is a part. Actually, during the coronavirus pandemic and the lockdowns, Zopa Rinpoche, our spiritual director, had advised the global community to recite certain prayers and practices to help quell the effects of the pandemic. And so for maybe a year, maybe more, then every Saturday, monks, nuns, and lay people around the world got together and did various prayers and practices for the well-being of sentient beings in the world, in particular, to quell the effects of the pandemic. So now, in more recent times, then luckily, in many parts of the world, the coronavirus pandemic has gotten a lot better. But we see in the world there is a lot of suffering. And in particular, the horrible war going on in the Ukraine, causing, of course, a lot of deaths, a lot of destruction, a lot of people having to flee their homes and live as refugees. And then the knock-on effects of this with the food insecurity of the kind of fossil fuels and gas, energy, these kinds of things. It is truly, causing a lot of suffering. And so very recently, Lama has advised the global community of monks and nuns, and of course his students, to recite other types of prayers and practices for this. And so I wanted to share the advice that he's given. So here I'm just on the page. And so Rinpoche has added these instructions. So at the beginning of the session, generate strong bodhicitta. So many of you know that bodhicitta is this altruistic motivation that we have to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, so in general, we're motivated by this thought of compassion, wishing that beings be free from suffering. But we also see that in our current situation, we are very limited in our ability to benefit others. So we then want to attain the state of enlightenment, completely develop our good qualities to their highest extent, so that we have all the skills and qualities to guide sentient beings to enlightenment as well. Okay. Then do these prayers and practices to stop the war between Russia and Ukraine. Main purpose is to stop the war immediately. And then we should especially think that of the ways that the war can stop, then actually we want the Russian army to just completely surrender, not fire even a single one of their weapons again, and go back to their own country, and never commit such a war with Russia again. Okay, and then also thinking that also not just to stop the war, but then thinking of all the other sufferings that are experienced in the world. So to think that we're doing these prayers to help prevent famine, disease, and the dangers of earth, water, fire, and wind, and for all these dangers to be passed by immediately. So we also see many natural disasters happening in the world. And then to fill the whole world with perfect peace and happiness, including enlightenment, and to generate love and kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta in the hearts of all sane beings, especially in the present generation. So these prayers are, there's one prayer to Guru Rinpoche, Guru Thomas and Baba, and then we think as we were reciting these prayers that from Guru Thomas and Baba's heart, light beams radiate and totally purify all the 6 forms sentient beings, and totally purify all the illusions they made upon this collective descent from beginningless rebirth, especially anger, attachment, and ignorance, and think that these are totally purified. Then we recite this Sampal Drukma, followed by the Padmasambhava mantra. Then, with strong faith in Padmasambhava and total reliance, Guru Padmasambhava will definitely help because of his compassion that embraces all sentient beings. So another way we can think is that with strong faith in His Holiness the Dalai Lama in the aspect of Guru Padmasambhava, nectar beams are emitted to put in his heart and enter his body and totally purify all his negative karma and obscurations. All the dissatisfied mind, desire, ignorance, anger, and selfish mind are totally purified, and he generates bodhicitta, especially then the whole path to enlightenment, and do that very strongly, making strong prayers to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And then also think that these nectar beams are emitted to the armies, and it purifies the anger and self-cherishing on both sides, but primarily President Putin, and they generate bodhicitta and give up the wish to give harm to even one sentient being. Then we recite the Heart Sutra like that. Okay. So it's very nice. I see that on the Zoom. Oh, I think she's dropped out. But a very dear friend of mine, Ina, who's actually from the Ukraine, but has fled Ukraine. She's actually now in Nepal at the holy place of the Rinpoche, the Sura Cave, hiking. And she's there with 10 people, and they're going to be doing these prayers along with us. So with that, let us go now to particular prayers. Okay, so these are the prayers revised. All right. So here we're doing this Padmasambhava prayer, the Sampal Drukma. And I just got a message from Ina that from her side, she has done 499 of the Sampal Drukma. So in our session here today, she's going to reach 500. So Lama Zopa Rinpoche had advised reciting this. There's an introductory story once, and then the actual prayer 500 times. Then the Rinpoche mantra from the Heart Sutra, and then this other prayer, prayer in accordance with the times. Okay. So those of you here, I don't know, do you have this prayer? Maybe not. I think we had printed out the Sampal Drukma last time. There's a bigger booklet. Yeah. Anyway, we'll set this introduction now. Homage to the Guru. It was in the 12th month of male 5-horse year when a huge salt feast was offered at the Samuel Monastery. So those of you who don't know, Sangye was the first monastery built in Tibet, and Guru Rinpoche was very instrumental in allowing the monastery to be built. So 5 disciples, the Bhikshu Manke Rinpo, King Trisam Detsen, King Vishisogya Manam Doje Bujong, and the Prince Mutri Sempo performed prostrations in certain emulated the Great Lotus Form Master upon the Sambhava and offered him a mandala of jewels. They then made this request: O Great Master, in every one of the teachings of secret mantra you have given, you have stated that keeping Samaya vows is of vital importance, and among these vows you have said that to pray to the Master is the most important of all. Since that is the case, both ourselves and others, and for future generations, we request you, who are a Buddha, please teach us a prayer that we can say in the morning and evening in few words and concise in meaning, a prayer that will inspire vivid faith and delight, infuse us with a powerful blessing, and when ordinary people not gifted with great intelligence use its words as an urgent plea, will evoke the wisdom mind of the deities of the secret Mantrayana and cause the blessing of you, the Guru, to enter into us. The Great Master replied, listen, you fortunate ones of Tibet, how rare it is for this secret Mantrayana to even appear at all. When the previous Buddha, the great guardian of light, turned the wheel of Dharma, he did not teach this secret mantra of Vajrayana. 840 million Buddhas have not taught it, nor will the Buddhas of the future teach it. Why not? Because those who live at the time are not suitable to receive it. Long ago, during the very first kalpa, called the kalpa of complete array, in the teaching of a Buddha called Once Come King, the secret mantra teachings were widely proclaimed. Now too, the secret mantras have appeared in the teaching of the present Buddha, the sage of the Shakyas, Shakyamuni. 10 million kalpas from now, in a kalpa called Array of Flowers, the Buddha Manjushu will come, and just like me, he will reveal the secret mantras on a vast scale. The reason that these teachings appear in these 3 kalpas alone is because the beings alive then are suitable recipients. At no time, apart from these 3 kalpas, will the secret mantra teachings appear. Therefore, now that this teaching is present, you who have obtained a free and well-favored human body, and who have embarked on the practice of the secret mantras, must not fall under the influence of laziness and apathy. Now you have to possess in their entirety the 4 requirements for practicing the secret mantras. If they are not complete, the samaya will be impaired, and you will definitely wander in samsara, and you will definitely fall into lower rebirths. Why is this? Because not one of the Buddhas of the past, present, and future teach that enlightenment can be realized by indulging in destructive emotions just as they are unchanged. The 4 requirements are these. First, you require the instruction for cutting forcefully through the entanglements and attachment that make you slip into ordinary ways of body, speech, and mind. Second, when the 5 poisons of destructive emotion are extremely turbulent, you require the instruction on knowing how these 5 poisons can be liberated in themselves. Third, when you fall under the influence of busyness and distraction, you require the instruction on recognizing expectation and fear as the obstacles. Fourth, to keep the samaya vows pure, you require the key instruction that is like an archer steadily drawing his bow. Furthermore, the secret mantrayana is like the Udumba rat flower, which hardly ever appears, and even when it does not last long. This is because beings are not suitable recipients for these teachings. Now you all, with the king at your head, listen well. Once you have attained a free and well-favored human body during the time when the Buddha's teaching flourishes, and once you have set out on the path of secret mantras, if you wish to attain enlightenment in this life, you must keep the root and branch samayas pure. This is absolutely vital. If not, you will be like a person who goes looking for a healing medicine and finds instead a deadly poison lethal to the touch. To keep samaya, you need devotion, diligence, and discriminating awareness, all three. Without devotion, you are not a suitable candidate for the secret mantrayana. Without exertion, you will slide back into ordinary experience, a lazy, indolent person. Without discriminating awareness, you will not know how to distinguish between the profound view and action of the secret mantrayana. The secret mantra teachings have come for the benefit of those beings who have devotion and faith. So recognize this master who teaches you the secret mantras as actually the Buddha in person and recite this prayer. So this prayer is the Sampa Lundrukma. Those of you here, we have this Sampa Lundrukma. I think it's the last prayer in this book. Yeah. And those of you on the Zoom, then you can follow along here. Ooh. Okay, so remember in the instructions from Zopa Rinpoche, he said at this point we visualize Guru Rinpoche in the space in front, and hold on, I'm going to turn. See if I can turn the camera. There. So we visualize him in the space in front, and from his heart, then all these light rays radiate out in 10 directions. It comes to purify all sentient beings, particularly of all the negative karma, all the causes of suffering, all the obscurations to liberation and enlightenment, and particularly the poisonous minds of anger, attachment, and so forth. And then these beings, particularly Vladimir Putin, all the other leadership in Russia, the Russian army, and so forth, and they completely give up the thought wishing to harm even a single sentient being. And instead only have great compassion toward all beings. And then all the other ancillary motivation we have for doing this practice to pacify the illness, pacify all the other problems due to natural disasters, environmental degradation, and so forth. These also get purified. So with that motivation, we'll recite this, and we have a little bit of time, so why don't we recite this 3 times? Okay. Namaho. In Devachan, this pure realm of the West, Amitabha's compassionate blessing was aroused. And he blessed his emanation, Padmasambhava, to come into this world to bring benefit to all beings. Compassionate one, you never cease to bring us help and well-being. To the Lotus Born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. All the Dharma kings, Tristan Detsen, down to the very end of the royal line. Down to the very end of the royal line, throughout past, present, and future, know your constant blessing. You are the only protection for rulers who follow Dharma, as in Tibet. Compassionate one, you safeguard the lands that practice Dharma. To the lowest born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. While your wisdom body subjugates the Rakshasas in the southwest, you look on sentient beings everywhere with compassion. Magnificent guide, for sentient beings led astray by ignorance, skillfully you teach them with their emotions so difficult to tame. Compassionate one, your love is constant in its kindness and care. To the lowest born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings, so all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Now when this degenerate dark age reaches its final depths, at dawn and dusky come for those that have devotion, riding on the rays of the rising and setting sun, and on the 10th day the waxing moon you come in person. Compassionate one, you act with vast power to help all beings. To the Lotus born Guru, we pray and grant your blessings, all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Now in this dark age, the age of conflict, the final error of the 500 parts, the 5 poisons of the negative emotions grow ever more violent in all sane beings. Recklessly we indulge in destructive emotions and let the poisons dominate our minds. At a time like this, let your compassion be our refuge and protection. Compassionate one, you those with devotion to the higher realms. To the Lotus born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings, all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When terrifying armies of oppression encircle us, menacing the great centers of Dharma with destruction, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. With the Rinpoche, with the retinue of the 8 classes of gods and demons, we will repel aggressors and their armies. Of this we have no doubt. To the Lotus born Guru, we pray, grant the blessings, all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When the sickness strikes, destroy the fragile bodies of sentient beings. When diseases plunge us into unbearable suffering and agony, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. O Guru Rinpoche, embodiment of the Buddha of medicine, you will remove obstacles that bring untimely death. To the Lotus born Guru, we pray. Grant your blessings so all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When nature turns against us and earth's resources fail, when sentient beings are tormented by the plague of famine, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. O Guru Rinpoche, with all your beginnings and deities of prosperity, you will dispel all deprivation, all hunger and thirst. Of this we have no doubt. To those born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings, so all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When the destiny of leaders retrieve hidden treasures for the benefit of beings, courageous and confident of our pure unbroken samaya, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. O Guru Rinpoche, inseparable from our human deity, you will ensure the true heirs receive their father's treasure. Of this we have no doubt. To the Lotus born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When traveling through hidden lands, forests, and deserted places, when our way is blocked, and we are cut off by storms, by rain and snow, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. O Guru Rinpoche, surrounded by the mighty local deities, you will lead us practitioners to the right path. Of this we have no doubt. To the Lotus born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings, so all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When vicious wild animals menace us, tigers, leopards, bears, and poisonous snakes, on our way through terrifying passes, wild and desolate places, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. O Guru Rinpoche, along with your demons, warriors, and protectors, you will drive off these ferocious creatures. Of this we have no doubt. To the Lotus born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When obstacles arise in earth, water, fire, and air, to threaten these illusory bodies of ours with destruction, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. O Guru Rinpoche, with the goddesses of the 4 elements, you will harmonize the elements into their natural state. Of this we have no doubt. To the Lotus born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When traveling on dangerous routes, if murderous bandits and robbers attack us, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. O Guru Rinpoche, through your realization of the 4 mudras, you will dispel the terror of all brutality and greed. To the Lotus born Guru, we pray that your blessings, so all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When faced by killers on all sides who threaten us with lethal weapons, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. O Guru Rinpoche, the protection of your Vajra tent will cause killers to panic and weapons to be scattered. To the Lotus born Guru, we pray. Grant your blessings, so all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When this lifespan is exhausted and you come to die, we know that it's anguish and pain of dying. With no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, as you are the emanation of Buddha Tama, it is certain we will be born in the blissful pure realm of Devachan. To the Lotus born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings, so all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When this borrowed and illusory body is destroyed in the bottom realm, when our deluded experiences and our further delusions arise to make us suffer, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Rinpoche, move in all past, present, and future, through your compassion. You will let all delusions be self-liberated. Of this we have no doubt. To the lowest born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When we are overwhelmed by karma and circumstance, and suffer through grasping at delusion is real, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru, King of great bliss, you utterly destroy the delusions that bring suffering. To the lowest born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When beings of all six realms are tormented by immense pain, and especially when our leaders and people are engulfed in suffering, with intense longing and devotion from the depths of our heart, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, with your unchanging, unwavering compassion, watch over us. To lowest born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. So we'll do 2 more times. Emerald in Devachen, this will appear alone of the West. Amitabha's compassionate blessing was aroused, and he blessed his emanation, Padmasambhava, to come into this world to bring benefit to all beings. Compassionate one, you never cease to bring us help and well-being. Till let us born Guru, pray, grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. All the Dharma kings from Trizon Detsen down to the very end of the royal line, throughout past, present, future, know your constant blessing. You are the only protection for leaders who follow Dharma, as in Tibet. Compassionate one, you safeguard the lands that practice Dharma. To the lowest born Guru, we pray, grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. While your wisdom body subjugates the Rakshasas in the southwest, you look on sentient beings everywhere with compassion. Magnificent guide for sentient beings that astray by ignorance, skillfully you teach them with their emotions so difficult to tame. Compassionate one, your love is constant in its kindness and care. To the lowest born Guru, we pray and grant your blessings so all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Now, when this degenerate dark age reaches its final depths, at dawn and dusk you come for those that have devotion, riding on the rays of the rising and setting sun, and on the 10th day of the waxing moon you come in person. Compassionate one, you act with vast power to help all beings. To the lowest born Guru, we pray and grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Now in this dark age, the age of conflict, the final error of the 500 parts, the 5 poisons of the negative emotions for every environment and all sentient beings. Recklessly, we indulge in destructive emotions and let the poisons dominate our minds. At a time like this, let your compassion be our refuge and protection. Compassionate one, you lead those with devotions in the higher realms. To the lowest born Guru, we pray and grant your blessings so all the wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When terrifying armies of oppression encircle us, menacing the great centers of Dharma with destruction, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, with your retinue of the 8 classes of gods and demons, you will repel aggressors and their armies. Of this we have no doubt. To the lowest born Guru, we pray and grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When sickness strikes to destroy the fragile bodies of sentient beings, when diseases plunges into unbearable suffering and agony, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, embodiment of the Buddha of medicine, you will remove the obstacles that bring untimely death. To the lowest born Guru, we pray and grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When nature turns against us and earth resources fail, when sentient beings are tormented by the plague of famine, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, with all your dakinis and deities of prosperity, you will dispel all deprivation, all hunger and thirst. Of this we have no doubt. To the lowest born Guru, we pray, grant your blessing, so all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When the destined revealers retrieve hidden treasures for the benefit of beings, courageous and confident of our pure unbroken Samaya, With no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, inseparable from our hidden deity, you'll ensure the true heirs receive their father's treasure. Of this we have no doubt. To Lotus One, Guru Rinpoche, we pray, grant your blessings so all the wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When traveling through hidden lands, forests, and deserted places, when our way is blocked and we are cut off by storms, by rain and snow, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, surrounded by mighty local deities, you will lead us practitioners to the right path. Of this we have no doubt. To the Lotus Born Guru Rinpoche, we pray, grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When vicious wild animals menace us, tigers, leopards, bears, and poisonous snakes, on our way through terrifying passes, wild and desolate places, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, along with your Gins, warriors, and protectors, you will guide off these ferocious creatures. Of this we have no doubt. To the Lotus Born Guru Rinpoche, we pray, grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When obstacles arise in the earth, water, fire, and air, to threaten these illusory bodies of ours with destruction, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, with the goddesses of the four elements, you will harmonize elements into the natural state. Of this we have no doubt. To the Lotus Born Guru Rinpoche, we pray, grant your blessings so all the wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When traveling on dangerous routes, if murderous bandits and robbers attack us, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, through realization of the four mudras, you will dispel the terror of all brutality and greed. To the Lotus Born Guru Rinpoche, we pray, grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When faced by killers on all sides who threaten us with lethal weapons, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, the protection of your Vajra tent will cause killers to panic and weapons to be scattered. To the Lotus Born Guru Rinpoche, we pray, grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When this lifespan is exhausted and we come to die, if we are racked by the intense anguish and pain of dying, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, as you are the blissful, the emanation of the Buddha Amitabha, it is certain we will be born in the blissful pure realm of Delachen. To the Lotus Born Guru Rinpoche, we pray, grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Once this borrowed and illusory body is destroyed in the borrowed realm, when our deluded experiences and our further delusions arise to make us suffer, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, you who know past, present, and future, through your compassion, you will let all the delusions be self-liberated. Of this we have no doubt. To Lotus Born Guru Rinpoche, we pray, grant your blessings so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When we are overwhelmed by karma and circumstance and suffer, through grasping at delusions real, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, King of great bliss, you will utterly destroy the delusions that bring suffering. To the Lotus Born Guru Rinpoche, we pray, grant your blessings so all the wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When beings of all six realms are tormented by immense pain, and especially when our leaders and people are engulfed in suffering, with intense longing and devotion from the depths of our heart, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, with your unchanging, unwavering compassion, watch over us. To the Lotus Born Guru Rinpoche, we pray, grant your blessings so all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. In Lahore, in Delachen, blissful pure realm of the West, Amitabha's compassionate blessing is aroused, and he blesses our nation, Amisambala, to come into this world to bring benefit to all beings. Compassionate one, you never cease to bring us help and well-being. To the Lotus Born Guru Rinpoche, we pray, grant your blessings, all the wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. All the Dharma kings, from Chusan Detsen down to the very end of the world line, throughout past, present, and future, know your constant blessing. You are the only protection for rulers who follow Dharma, as in Tibet. Compassionate one, you safeguard the lands that practice Dharma. To the lowest form, Guru, holding and pray, grant your blessings, all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. While your wisdom body subjugates the Rakshasas in the southwest, you look on sentient beings everywhere with compassion. Magnificent guide for sentient beings that are strayed by ignorance. Skillfully you teach them with their emotions so difficult to tame. Compassionate one, your love is constant in its kindness and care. To the lowest form, Guru, holding and pray, grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Now, when this degenerate dark age reaches its final depths, at dawn and dusk you come, for those that have devotion, riding on the rays of the rising and setting sun, and on the 10th day of the waxing moon you come in person. Compassionate one, you act with vast power to help all beings. To those born Guru, we're going to pray, grant your blessings, all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Now, in this dark age, the age of conflict, the final era of the 500 parts, the 5 poisons of the negative emotions grow ever more violent in all sentient beings. Recklessly, we indulge in destructive emotions and let the poisons dominate our minds. At a time like this, let your compassion be our refuge and protection. Compassionate one, you lead those with devotion to the higher realms. To the lowest one, we will pray, grant your blessings, so all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When terrifying armies of oppression encircle us, menacing the great centers of Dharma with destruction, with no trace of doubt or hesitation we pray, over Rinpoche with the retinue of the 8 classes of gods and demons, you will repel aggressors and the armies, of this we have no doubt. To those born who grant your blessings, so all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When sickness strikes to destroy the fragile bodies of sentient beings, when diseases plunge us into unbearable suffering and agony, with no trace of doubt or hesitation we pray, over Rinpoche, embodiment of the Buddha of medicine, you will remove the obstacles that bring untimely death. To the lowest one of the Lord, we pray, grant your blessings, so our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When nature turns against us and earth's resources fail, when sentient beings are tormented by the plague of famine, with no trace of doubt or hesitation we pray, over Rinpoche, with all your dakinis and days of prosperity, you will dispel all deprivation, all hunger and thirst. Of this we have no doubt. To the lowest one, we pray, grant your blessings, so all wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When the destiny revealers retrieve hidden treasures for the benefit of beings, courageous and confident of our pure unbroken samana, with no doubt and no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. Over Rinpoche and several from our Yidam deity, you will ensure the true heirs receive their father's treasure. Of this we have no doubt. To the lowest one, we pray, grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When traveling through hidden lands, forests, and deserted places, when our way is blocked and we are cut off by storms, by rain and snow, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. Over Rinpoche, surrounded by the mighty local deities, you will lead us practitioners to the right path. Of this we have no doubt. To the lowest one, we pray, grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When vicious wild animals menace us, tigers, leopards, bears, and poisonous snakes, on our way through terrifying passes, wild and desolate places, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. O Guru Rinpoche, along with your kings, warriors, and protect us, you will drive off these ferocious creatures. Of this we have no doubt. To the lowest one, Guru, we pray, grant your blessings, so our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When obstacles arise in the earth, water, fire, and air, to threaten these illusory bodies of ours with destruction, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. O Guru Rinpoche, with the goddesses of the 4 elements, you will harmonize the elements into their natural state. Of this we have no doubt. To the lowest one, Guru, we pray, grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When traveling on dangerous routes, if murderous bandits and robbers attack us, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. Over Rinpoche, through realization of the 4 mudras, you will dispel the terror of all brutality and greed. To the lowest one, we pray, grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When faced by killers on all sides who threaten us with lethal weapons, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. Over Rinpoche, the protection of your Vajra tent, will cause killers to panic and weapons to be scattered. To Lotus Bone Guru, ruling and pray, grant your blessings, all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When this lifespan is exhausted and we come to die, if we are racked by the intense anguish and pain of dying, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, as you are the emanation of Buddha Amitabha, it is certain we will be born in the blissful pure realm of Devachan. To the Lord's born Guru, we pray and grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Once this borrowed and illusory body is destroyed in the bodily realm, when our deluded experiences and our further delusions arise to make us suffer, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray. O Guru Rinpoche, you who know past, present, and future, through your compassion, you will let all the delusions be self-liberated. This we have no doubt. To Lord's born Guru, we pray and grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When we are overwhelmed by karma and circumstance and suffer through grasping that delusion is real, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, King of great bliss, you will utterly destroy the delusions that bring suffering. To the Lord's born Guru, we pray and grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When beings of all six realms are tormented by immense pain, and especially when our leaders and people are engulfed in suffering, with intense longing and devotion from the depths of our heart, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, with your unchanging, unwavering compassion, watch over us. To the Lord's born Guru, we pray and grant your blessings, so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. So next we recite the Brahma mantra. So here, remember the visualization we had from Thomas and Baba's heart. Light rays radiate in directions, purify all sentient beings of all their negative karma, all their causes of suffering, of body and mind, all obscurations of liberation and enlightenment. And they also obtain all the realizations, particularly great compassion, bodhicitta, wisdom, realizing emptiness, all the way up to the complete state of enlightenment. So do two models of the Vajraguru mantra. Om Ahum Benzavu and Nasitu. So next going on to the Heart Sutra. And here there's a theme mantra that we recite at the beginning. So those of us in the center, it's in this gold tablet, part picture. Please look in the table of contents. You're all capable. And then you recite the mantra, Tayata Om Dari 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 Soha. Do that 7 times. So Tayata Om Dari 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 Soha, Tayata Om Dari 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 Soha, Tayata Om Dari 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 Soha, Tayata Om Dari Dari Soha, Tayata Om Dari 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 Soha, Tayata Om Dari 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 Soha. The Heart of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra, I pressure to the 3 noble rare sublime ones. Lest that I hear at one time, the Bhagavan was dwelling on Master of Vulture's Mountain in Vajrayana, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound perception. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Rinpoche looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of their nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Rinpoche. How should any son of the lineage train who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that in the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Rinpoche said this to the Venerable Shariputra. Shariputra, any son of the lineage, or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of their nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object, no touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, up to including no mind element, and no mental conscious element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom in attainment, and also in non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on the dwelling perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the endpoint of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in 3 times also manifested, completely awakened to the unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in the minds of the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that clearly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of perfection of wisdom is declared Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from their concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Rinpoche, saying, well said, son of the age, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated, even so that others rejoice. The Bhagavan, having thus spoken of the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Rinpoche, those surrounding them entirely along with the word of God, as soon as the stories of Bhagavatas were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. So the last bit of advice was to do this next prayer, the prayer in accordance with the times. So again, those of you here, if you, it was there on the link that was sent out, but I see some of you don't have your phone now. Anyway, we can recite. to the root and lineage lamas who bestow the highest blessings, to the meditational deities, and to the peaceful and rightful deities, sending down the rain of scriptural realization, and to the dakas, the kings and their protectors who remain all obstacles. I prostrate with deep respect of the three doors. I offer a evil offering, both actual and visualized, which fill the sky to the extent of space. I confess all the sins I have accumulated since the beginning of this time and vow not to commit them again. I rejoice in all the virtue accumulated by ordinary and noble beings. I encourage the turning of the wheel found in the vast Lama. I pray that you, the Guru, may enjoy a long life until the end of cycling existence. I dedicate the heap of all my virtue without exception, starting with this, in accordance with the aspirations of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the three times, for the sake of completely removing the darkness of ignorance in all sinning beings, and for the spreading of the light of omniscient wisdom, who are fully affected by deep darkness of great defilement and were born in degenerate times. Please save us out of compassion by the complete extinguishing of the great fire and manifold sufferings, which are the fruits of negative actions and mental afflictions ripened in time. May I pray the perfect bliss and happiness of kindness and compassion, being free from any mutual enmity spread. Please, non-deceptive protector, rescue us, protect us. Please, treasury of boundless compassion, look upon us, care for us. Ancient tutelary gods, deities of the land, do not be careless, do not be careless. Please care for us, quickly save us. May the sunlight of the teaching of the victorious one spread throughout the 10 directions. May all sane beings forever enjoy the splendor of happiness and joy by purifying the two types of obscurations and accomplishing the two accumulations in the state of omniscience. May they quickly attain it. By the blessing of truth of the Supreme Guru and the Supreme Three Jewels, and by the reliable power of the changeless sphere of reality and interdependent origination, and by the devotion and holy deeds of our protectors, may all our wishes be fulfilled exactly as desired. By the blessing of the Guru who embodies all protection, may all the temporary and ultimate misfortunes that there are be eliminated. May we have the auspiciousness of enjoying the perfect splendor of the spontaneously generated prosperity and well-being of samsara and okay. So, thank you very much. We are almost at the end of our time. So we'll do a more general dedication of the merit. So many of you know, when we dedicate the merit, then we can direct our positive energy in a way that's going to be most beneficial for sentient beings. So very similar to what we have motivated at the beginning of the session, then we think of all the various sufferings that sentient beings are experiencing, and particularly the suffering of war, and then all the various natural disasters, all the suffering due to environmental degradation, all the suffering due to disease, all of these various causes of mental and physical suffering. We dedicate all of our merit that we've accumulated here, as well as all the merit accumulated in the past, that is being accumulated in the present, and will be accumulated in the future, that all of these various sufferings and their causes be completely pacified in this world and all the other world systems of the 10 directions from now until the end of samsara. And then this mind of bodhicitta, the altruistic wish to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, may that arise in our hearts and in the hearts of all sentient beings without even seconds of light. And in particular, in the heart of Vladimir Putin, all the other leaders in Russia, may they generate this mind of bodhicitta, great compassion, and thus abandon the thought, wishing, or causing even the slightest harm to a single sentient being, and instead may they only act in a way that's going to be most beneficial. So in this way, may the Russian army surrender right now without firing another weapon. and may they go back to their country. Then we dedicate for the long lives of the spiritual friends, particularly His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Rinpoche, all of our holy gurus who are teaching the unmistaken path to enlightenment. May they have a long and stable life. May all of their activities, particularly the activity of teaching, increase, and may all of their wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. From our side, may we and all the other singing beings only be guided by perfect qualified, wise, and virtuous friends, such as His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and may we always fulfill their holy wishes immediately. Then all the beings who recently died may be born in a pure land where they can receive enlightenment. And then if they can't be reborn in pure land, may they at the very least attain perfect human rebirth, meet with a Maya, a Guru, Maya, and a Dharma, and attain enlightenment in the next lifetime. Okay, I think that's it. Our time is up. So, yeah, thank you everyone for coming. Please be good to the people that we interact with on a daily basis. When we look in the world, there seems to be, and there are, many problems, and sometimes it feels like we can't do much about it. But there is at least something we can do in relation to the people we interact with on a daily basis. And then also, I do think it's important, because of the impending energy crisis, that as much as possible we try to conserve energy. This will have a good effect on the energy crisis as well as on the environment, because many of the environmental problems caused by climate change can be somewhat improved by a drastic reduction in fossil fuel use. So I'm an environmentalist at heart, so I encourage you as much as possible to also, in ways big and small, try to contribute to the environment. Yeah, as this is the kind of shared space of all the same beings in the world. So thank you very much. We will see you next time. And yeah, be well, be happy. Take care.